Hi, Frank. Thank you so much for being here. It's an honor to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine myself. Celestial Death is Cryptosis' new album. Will be released on the 7th of March. What can you reveal to your fans about that album?
Uh, in terms of music, it's a lot more cinematic. It's darker. It has way more melody, less technical uh, show off. Um, I think it's more like a cohesive concept album instead of just some random tracks put together. Yeah, I think that's basically like generally the difference between the first album and the second album.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not very easy to categorize, into put Celestial Death into a box. Sometimes it's more closer to prog or to thrash metal, and the other times more close to death metal. Sometimes it even comes to a little bit of like metal. How would you characterize it in your own words?
Yeah, this is a really hard question to answer,
Maybe it doesn't need to
like,
fit in a box as well.
yeah, exactly. And, like the three of us, we're totally different in terms of what we like in music, So our guitar player is more into like Symphony X, Opeth, like the Dream Theater, this,
Mhm.
guitar oriented music, I would say. Our drummer is more like old school, AC/DC, Motorhead, but also Porcupine Tree, So there's also a bit of like progressive overlap that we share. I myself, I'm really into black metal, death metal, trash, this stuff. But I also like electronic music, like Massive Attack, Apex Twin, but also Klaus Schulze, for example. So if you blend everything of this together, then you get like a really weird mix, And for us, we are always a bit of the outsiders, Like we can be on a black metal festival, but also on a thrash metal festival or prog. But like there is not really a festival with only bands that like how we sound. So in this way, it's a blessing, but also a curse at the same time, because like it's really hard to market. I think the band, if you can use this kind of terms, and it's hard for people to say like, yeah, this band is this or that, Um, but yeah, it makes us really unique, I think, between the other bands. And if you had to describe it, I would say it's between something like Emperor Dissection mixed with some death metal, more or less.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. And one thing that really I think it's interesting about Cryptosis is that the way how you make all of those different influences work in one in cohesive songs and albums. How do you do that? Is there any special process that you follow?
No, I think it's just a natural, like it's just the sound that the three of us have. Like I said, everyone brings something really unique, to the table in terms of their own fingerprint. And if you eliminate one of the three, then you get basically a different band. I think, So it is, this sound is especially what the three of us make, and yeah, it's not like we make this stuff intentionally, like we have to find a bit of this band, or we have to put a bit of that to make something unique. It's just like we just put whatever we like. And like I said, Marco is a bit more old school, so sometimes Lawrence and me, the two songwriters, we come up with something like really avant-garde or whatever, and then he's like, no, 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 this is this shit is too extreme. Just take it a step back, or whatever. Make the drums like this, or keep the melody a bit more repeating or whatever. And then like without him there, we also don't like we go probably too far extreme in different directions. And so with him, having him to guide it, like make it a bit more like straightforward. And like sometimes the Lars come up with some guitar stuff, and I think like, yeah, it's too much trash, or like too much guitar show off. Let's put some huge synthesizers and some choirs, and have the musical piece transition a bit. So I think it's a matter of how we think about music. and not so much as like coming up with a plan like it has to sound like this or that. I think that's why it sounds like a cohesive part, because it's written by basically two people.
Yeah, and I think you make it work really, really great. You already said that this album is more cinematic than compared to your previous. In what other ways can we see this Celestial Death as a growth of the band and as of US as people?
I think when we were recording Bionic Swarm, we had a clear focus on everything has to be like as much over the top as we could. So in terms of speed, in terms of what we can do on our instruments, and it's really nice to do it, like to be able to play with musicians who also understand this, and like they actually can play this stuff really really well. But then at some point, we've been, I think, playing like almost 100 shows with this album, and then you get a bit bored with it, and so for us the challenge this time was more like write something, that's actual good songs, and also what we learned was like in Bionic Swan we already had quite a lot of synthesizers and choirs and this kind of stuff, but they were mixed, a bit to the background. Whereas now we want, give them the same space as a guitar or vocals, for instance, like make it a extra band member.
Mhm.
So yeah, that is something that we learned during this process, to just follow our ideas and just keep pushing also in the studio, like just push what we want instead of having other people tell us what to do.
Yeah, and we only have another extra band member when you're playing this songs live.
Oh no, I play this synthesizer stuff myself. I have my bass guitar that I split in a stereo. So basically, one side goes to a bass amp, and the other side goes to an amp with a orchestral, like some pedal that emulates orchestral stuff. So whatever I play on the bass, it's it sounds fucking massive, and people that seen us play live know this, and yeah, this is basically how we do it in a live setting.
Yeah,
So we
that,
don't really need an extra band member. It's
mhm.
the three of us. We feel like we have a winning team, and if you add someone new, the dynamic will completely change.
Yeah, it's your power trio is one of your brands, being the strength that you pose the three of you. So it's
Yeah,
probably great.
yeah.
Since we're talking about your live shows, you've been touring a lot lately for your last album. What plans do you have for touring with this new album?
In May we're gonna go on a European tour, but I don't think we go to Portugal. In July, we go to Latin America, do a small tour over there. And when we come back in the fall, we will all go to Spain, Portugal, Greece. I think we're talking about Denmark, Sweden. So we're working on quite a big tour this year, like
Yeah,
in total. If you have all the dates.
yeah, and those dates that you are mentioning for Portugal, I think they are official yet, right?
They are not officially yet. Our booking agent is working behind the scenes on this, but it will probably be October, November. So, if any promoters want to get in touch, they're,
Yeah,
feel
man,
free to contact us. Yeah.
it would be great to have you here and to see our show and to talk to you personally. So, if the chance comes, don't waste it. Would be lovely to have you here.
Yeah, and we were in in Lisbon before in 2022 with Factor. It was really amazing. So we love to come back.
Yeah, I mean, and the Portuguese public loves you. I mean, from the reaction that he had to Bionic Swamp, and I think that you will have a very good reaction to Celestial Death as well. Now, which of these songs are you most looking forward to play live from Celestial Death?
We have been playing the Silent Call live since last year, just to try it out, how it works in a live setting and such. And this is one of my favorite songs to play, actually. Also, I'm really looking forward to play the Faceless Matter. We're gonna release a new single, Static Horizon. This song is also one of my favorites. Um, Yeah, and of course, like the really fast song that we have, Cryptosphere, like super technical stuff. I think it's nice to to be able to play some really atmospheric and slow stuff. That with kind of a bit of a repetition in some parts, and then like you have songs that are like really intense and like you can really start to go freaking on your guitar and your bass. Yeah, this song is also one of my favorites. Yes.
Yeah, and the Static Horizon, now that you mentioned it, yeah, I think it's one of your most melodic songs ever. How did you come up with that song? Did it undergo any special treatment or anything?
We've been. I have to think about it. We have been writing on this song for quite some time. So basically, we wanted to have a song that doesn't follow the first chorus bridge structure. So it's more like a story. And then every time, like I write in my home studio, stuff for myself, and Lawrence does this too. And but we also meet up like 2 or 3 times a week together to work on the stuff in both our places. So I had written some parts, and like at some point Lawrence says, yeah, well, it needs this kind of like it has to go this road or that road, so we just followed along a bit, and we played with some stuff. And at some point it was a really nice like interplay between him and me. So every time he came up with a part, and like I came up with the next part, he came up with the part after this. So that was a really nice working together on a song, actually.
Yeah, as I said, it looks really really good in this album. As I think it's probably the most melodic song on the album as well. So I mean, it's quite
Yeah,
a
yeah,
journey as
yeah,
well,
yeah.
as we
Yeah,
said.
I fixed it too. And it basically is a collection of everything that you can find on the album in one song, is basically how I see it.
Yeah, it's that's a very good description, I think. You already mentioned Silent Call as well. It was in your 2023 EP,
Yeah.
and it's now on this album as well. Why did you decide to include it on this album too?
Well, it was written in the same songwriting process, so it was always intended to be on the album. But after we played 70,000 tons of metal in 2023 January, we got in contact with Obscura. They saw our show and they really liked it. And then we started talking with Stefan, and he said, well, I really like the band. I want to bring you guys on a tour with that we were going to do with Cynic. So then we had the opportunity to like to record and to let yeah, basically release one song on the public, and see like how can we pull this off live, what is people's reaction to it. So it was basically a teaser from the album. And then when the album sessions came up, we just basically re-recorded it just to have the same drum sound, have the same like the same kind of sound for the voice. Like it was recorded in the same sessions again.
Yeah, that makes sense, I think. Also, Faceless Matter and Reign of Infinite were your singles so far. Do you think they are representative of the album?
uh yeah, I think so. Whereas Faces Matter is a bit of a like a bridging the gap song between Bionic Swarm and the new album. And Reign of Infinite is more like for us a bit more experimental song, because it's like really different from what we've done on Bionic Swarm. But it also it stands out a bit on Celestial Death. So it's a song that's basically a bit of a one-off song. And yeah, we just wanted to experiment with this, but we got some really nice feedback. So I think what the experiment was proved.
Yeah, it was successful for sure. Now you already talked about that. There's a concept behind this album. Do you want to go a little bit through that?
Yeah, the album basically is a concept album. And if you look around in the time that we are living in right now, we are basically at the dawn of a new era, like the technology era. And So far, it's only like 30 years or so that technology really starting to interfere with our lives. So this album basically deals with that, you know, like it's the start of a new era. Where does it go? You know, what's going on right now? Things like artificial intelligence, they were once really futuristic concepts, and now everyone uses it, you know, I don't know, to write grocery lists and all kinds of stupid stuff, you know, generate photos, make music. Like and it's just the beginning, you know. It's just if you look at it in a, you know, time perspective of 100 years, it's just we just got it started, you know. And this album is basically, you know, our expression of what we feel about it, you know, and how we interpret it, this musically.
Yeah, and do you still do everything old school? I mean, no AI, at least on the cover that you can see in your background. It's also a very great cover. Do you want to tell us who was responsible for that, and which guidelines did you give him?
It's Eliran Kantor. He's pretty famous in the metal scene. He works with Testament, Soulfly. I don't know, basically every major band that has a bit of significance. So we had our demos ready. I think only one song was missing, and we just you know, sent it to him. I had a video call with him, and I said like, yeah, well, this is basically what the album is about, and this is the music. You can listen to it, you know, and just interpret how you know, like basically make visually what you hear. And so this is what he came up with, and yeah, I really like the way, you know, he uses the colors and everything, and it's nice that like you are really into your project, you know, like you focus so much on the music, and then you have to come up with an album cover, and you have some ideas, but you know, as the three of us are totally different, we have three different ideas, so it's good, you know, that you have some professional just, you know, like interpreting the stuff on a, yeah, you know, totally different way that we would have imagined it ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great artist as well as you guys, and it's a really great cover. So, what was the process of working with them? You just sent them the songs, and they came up with that masterpiece.
Yeah, and by accident, we also met him on the tour when we were in Berlin, where he's located. So he came to the show, and you know, we hang out backstage, and we talked a bit, you know, about music, about art, about basically everything. And then he just basically disappeared, and at some point we, you know, got an email and said like, hey, I have a sketch, and what kind of colors are you, you know, thinking about? And so we, you know, sent a few emails back and forth, and then he came up with the final cover art.
Yeah, I mean, he did a great job. Someone that also did a great job was the people responsible for your studio work and everything. Do you want to go a little bit through all was that process? Any funny story that happened during your studio time?
Uh, yeah, we have a friend, Olaf Scoring, who is the recording engineer. He's a friend of us. He was there when we first started out with the band many years ago. So you know, like he knows us on a personal level. He knows what we can pull off in the studio. So it was really nice working with someone, you know, who is really good in his job, but also is really connected to the band. And this, you know, this way he can really push your performance on the record. Yeah, any funny stories? I have to think. Basically, we recorded it over a period of I think May, June, in the 4 months. But every time, you know, like we worked 2 weeks on the drums, then you know, like we were had a small break, then we worked 3 weeks on the guitars. Yeah, yeah, actually there's not so much funny things, you know, like yeah, maybe one thing is like this song Reign of Infinite is Marco, our drummer, favorite song on the album. He came to me and said like, yeah, I want to make a song with this drum beat, can you make something with this? So you know, we made the song, and when we were in the studio one day, he recorded 3 songs in this day, I think, and you know, was really intense, 8 hours playing drums. So we were you know, about to wrap it up, so like, okay, let's call it a day, and we go back tomorrow. And he says, no, 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 it's my favorite song. I have to record it today. So he was sitting behind the drums, and I think in like one take, 5 minutes, complete song, perfect, recorded. Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, crazy work from him. I mean, he's a beast drummer. I mean, it really
Yeah.
shows that as well live. Um, well, Frank, tell me one thing. What's next for Cryptosis? I mean, you released two great albums. I mean, you've played over 100 shows. You have more tours coming up. What's now? What's your goal for the next years?
Yeah, we want to expand, our fan base as much as we can. We want to travel to new places that we've never been to. So Latin America is the first thing on our bucket list. We have Asia as well, Northern America. So there, some big European festivals that we have never been, but we, already know for such a long time that they exist and that we really want to play there. So we have some things on the bucket list, but we just work slowly towards it, and we keep continuing making music. We we are in the process now of promoting this one. It's probably going to continue for the rest of the year, and then I think 2026 we start writing new music. So let's see, where this ship takes us.
Frank, thank you. It was an honor. Would you like to send any message to your Portuguese fans?
Yeah, thank you so much for your warm welcome when we first came to your country. It was amazing for us, really nice. And if you like what we do, just check it out on Spotify, on YouTube. If you want to support, check our web shop, cryptosis.net/shop, and I hope to see you on the road.